Other news this evening, Hacienda Healthcare making headlines once again. Today, the state confirming to 12 News 5 clinics owned by Hacienda Healthcare were operating without a license.
Hacienda Healthcare made national news when an incapacitated woman gave birth after being raped in the facility. Team 12's Michael Doudna joins us now live in the 12 News Alert Center. And Michael, what is the situation here?
Guys, while both of these cases deal with the same company and unlicensed facilities, it is not the same issue as the Hacienda Healthcare, where infamously that incapacitated woman did give birth. Now, that facility, known as Hacienda Healthcare de Los Angeles, had a special carve-out from being licensed in a 1997 law and has seen issue after issue, getting a state license this year only to hear that it's going to be revoked. And then they are now set up to potentially lose their Medicaid contract. Instead, in this case, there are 5 Los Niños clinics around the state, which Hacienda owns, and they say that these clinics are for high-risk infants. Now, the Arizona Department of Health Services told us this morning they became aware that these facilities were unlicensed back in February. We talked to Will Humble, former director of the department, who says there are plenty of potential reasons for these outpatient clinics to have gone unlicensed. But he says that the added oversight can be a useful tool.
A license is important because that's the way we can assure the health and safety of patients and facilities. I mean, that's the tool that we can use, and it works actually pretty well as long as the system is functioning.
As long as the system is functioning. Now, the state says the 2 of those facilities, one in Phoenix and one in Gilbert, are now licensed, while the remaining 3 facilities will be surveyed next month. We're live in the Alert Center. Michael Doudna, 12 News.